The more we dive into Squid Game, the more details and Easter eggs we uncover in this series, which remains one of Netflix's most watched shows of all time. For instance, we've already figured out one of the upcoming games that will feature in the third season of the series. Just like in Season 1, the game's masterminds, represented by the sadistic frontman, subtly hint at the games the Squid Game participants will face. One of the main ways they do this is through the paintings on the walls of the dormitory where the players spend their nights. Similarly, in this second round, we see new games depicted on the walls, different from those in the first season. For example, one painting hints at a game involving hanging from bars. This game seems to be inspired by monkey bars, a playground favorite where you hang on the bars to cross to the other side. However, in Squid Game, failing to hold on likely means falling into a deep pit to certain death, much like the infamous glass bridge game. Most intriguing, though, is how Gihun, our protagonist and hero, hasn't realized this yet. We're rooting for him to notice before it's too late. This is just the first of many details and Easter eggs we've uncovered in Squid Game Season 2. Want to blow your mind? Stay with us until the end of this video. Amid all the shootings and deadly games, one of Squid Game's central messages revolves around parents, children, and family in general. At the end of Season 1, we see Gihun abandon his flight to the US, where he was supposed to reunite with his daughter, to try to put an end to the games orchestrated by the frontman. Season 2 picks up right where this left off. Interestingly, we see Gihun with his hair dyed a reddish pink, the exact color of the Squid Game logo. Shortly after, Gihun discovers a tracker hidden in his ear. Here's the catch: the tracker had to be surgically implanted. So how did neither Gihun nor the person who dyed his hair notice a scar near his ear? Speaking of the color pink, as mentioned in our previous videos, it appears in various key moments throughout Season 2. It's likely one of the most intentional Easter eggs placed by the director. One instance is the pink paint on the motorcycle stopped by Junho while working as a traffic cop in the first episode. Meanwhile, the girl flirting with Junho to avoid a ticket is wearing a red and blue sweater. These two colors symbolize the participants' choices to stay in or leave the deadly game, as seen in the tags on their uniforms and the dormitory floor symbols. This mirrors the red and blue pills from the Matrix, symbolizing life-altering decisions. Without a doubt, this is one of the biggest Easter eggs sprinkled throughout Season 2, as noted in previous videos. Now let's talk about the motorcyclist. We can deduce that he's an anime fan because of the stickers on the front of his bike. For example, there's a blue and red Pokeball sticker, a nod to the game's color symbolism. Next to the Pokeball is a sticker of Gengar, one of the creepiest Pokemon. It's likely no coincidence that Gengar was chosen, as its blue and red hues match the series' recurring theme.
Huh? What's that? You must be seeing things. Oh.
On the other side of the bike, there's a Super Cub sticker referencing both the bike model, a Honda Super Cub, one of the world's best-selling motorcycles, and the anime Super Cub 2021, which tells the story of a girl who buys a Super Cub similar to the one in Squid Game. Another noteworthy moment is when Junho issues the biker a ticket, but lets him ride away without a helmet. Maybe he turned a blind eye because the girl flirted with him so shamelessly. I might have done the same, would you? Quick reminder, this is part 3 of our Squid Game Season 2 details and Easter egg series. If you missed parts 1 and 2, we've linked them in the description. Don't forget to check them out. Right after the scene with the woman and the man on the motorcycle, we see Junho and his former superior sharing a meal together. If you look closely, you'll notice a reflection in the mirror revealing a sunflower painting in the restaurant's decor. In the video from the first part of the Easter egg series, we mentioned that this isn't a coincidence. In the immigrant facilitator's office, sunflower paintings also appear. These likely reference Van Gogh's painting Sunflower Field, as the frontman is a known admirer of the artist. Speaking of Junho again and returning to the theme of family, in one scene of the second episode of Season 2, we discover that the frontman and the detective, whom we thought had died in Season 1, are actually foster brothers. This is revealed during a dinner conversation between Junho and his mother. This revelation opens up some fascinating possibilities, as you'll see below. In Season 1, Il-nam mentions to Gihun that his son, like the series' protagonist, hated drinking milk. In Season 2, we see the frontman handing his milk to a pregnant participant, stating that he doesn't like drinking milk either. This raises the possibility that the frontman is Il-nam's son, but was raised by Junho's mother. This connection would explain many things, such as the frontman's taste for sadistic games, and his belief that all participants are essentially worthless. Another intriguing theme is the harvesting of participants' organs. In Season 1, this was secretly done by some game staff intending to sell them on the black market for profit. However, in Season 2, it's unclear whether this operation is organized by the frontman himself, as a doctor is now hired directly for this task. Earlier, during Junho's conversation with his mother, it's revealed that the frontman lost his wife because he couldn't afford her treatment. He had even donated one of his kidneys to his brother. This highlights the importance of organ donation, suggesting that the frontman might be orchestrating everything to prevent others from dying due to a lack of organs or money, just like his wife. It's optimistic to think this way, isn't it? But in the world of Squid Game, absolutely nothing is impossible. Speaking of the frontman, a small but significant detail is that he ended up saving Gihun's life, not in the six-person tug-of-war game though. This happened when Gihun tried to convince everyone to vote to leave the games just before the first vote. The leader announced that no one was allowed to speak in favor or against the vote anymore. Before the second vote, Gihun again tried persuading people to leave the games. As we know, breaking the rules leads to death. But just before the staff could shoot Gihun for violating the rule set by the leader, the frontman intervened, preventing his death. Another interesting detail proving that the frontman manipulates the game occurs during the 6-person tug-of-war game. Gihun's group was one of the last 2 groups to compete. This wasn't coincidental. If Gihun's group failed to complete the 5 games in time, everyone except the frontman would have been eliminated. And by eliminated, we all know what that means. Clearly, they were intentionally left for last. Even if you hadn't noticed this little detail we just shared, here's a tip for you. Click the subscribe button below so you won't miss any of our upcoming sensational videos. Talking a bit more about the macabre games organized by the frontman, the third one is the carousel. Once again, we see a direct connection between the game and Gihun's old gambling addiction related to horse racing. After all, at the center of the game, we can see the horses typical of carousels. In addition, the participants are forced to run like racehorses to enter the rooms and save themselves from certain death. This further strengthens the connection with our protagonist's old habits. Now talking about the recruiter, we see that he deliberately buys bread and scratch cards to create a sort of mini-game with homeless individuals, giving them the choice between food and gambling. This is a direct representation of the choices participants face during every vote to continue or leave the game, where the bread represents the X, symbolizing the opportunity to leave the game, and the scratch card represents the circle, symbolizing the option to stay in the game. Speaking further about the recruiter, once he discovers Gihun's HQ, he heads there and the two meet. As soon as the protagonist sees the man responsible for bringing him into the games, we can notice that he is drinking a kind of fermented milk. This is a clear reference to the fact that, in cinematic history, many psychopaths and villains are often depicted drinking milk. This serves as an analogy to how evil is the complete opposite of maternal instincts, since milk is the food for offspring and babies, making the act of drinking milk by such individuals even more grotesque. This reinforces the idea that, as you probably saw in this scene from the second season, the recruiter was a hardened psychopath who even killed his own father without a shred of hesitation. And the last almost imperceptible detail we noticed in the same scene sequence, when Gihun and the recruiter are playing Russian roulette. If you look at the revolver's chamber on the table, you'll notice that there was no bullet in the rotation sequence. This indicates that it wasn't yet Gihun's time to die. This was just a small production detail, but it caught our attention. And we wrap up our video here with these 20 references and Easter eggs we found in the second season of Squid Game. Let us know below which movie or series you'd like us to break down for details and Easter eggs next. We promise to do our best to fulfill your request. Now pick one of these 2 amazing videos we've left on the screen to keep watching quality content. See you next time.